Hey everybody, welcome back. Sean here, and I have got a wine for you. This is the 2015 Pewsey Vale Contours Riesling from Eden Valley in Australia. This is part of the March 2022 Somm Wine Club box, and I'm already so stoked. The Contours Riesling is one of the most iconic vineyard properties in the world. It's immediately recognizable in photos. You see these long sloping contoured vineyard rows planted to make the most of this kind of undulating terrain up in the Eden Valley. Originally, the vineyard was planted in 1847. It was one of the first vineyards planted in the region. Fell into disuse in the 20s, like a lot of vineyards in the region, and then was rediscovered in the 60s and replanted. They took cuttings from those original 1847 vines and propagated them into the vineyard to create the Contours block as we know today. The what remains from those 60s plantings are what go into the Contours Riesling. Now they call it a museum release because it's not released until 5 years after bottling, and they cellar it at the state. Gives it a little bit of time to integrate. Eden Valley Riesling can be particularly austere when it is young in this very dry style. It has like really bone-shattering acid. It's tart, crunchy. So those 5 years of bottle age really give it a chance to show a little bit more weight and depth and complexity. They do a 10-year museum reserve as well, which I think the current vintage is 2010, and it's also outstanding. But today we're going to talk about the 2015. Let's smell. I don't think what I'm wearing is quite appropriate for how amazing this wine is. I have an idea. That's better. Okay, so. Damn. This wine is just so expressive. It has this really bright, like key lime, citrus blossom, like really ripe, beautiful Meyer lemon, all kinds of just ripe citrus notes on the nose. There's this undertone of slight nuttiness or like white honey. There's a spice component. It smells like wet rocks. It's rocks. Even just smelling this wine, I have just happiness kind of flowing through your body. If you can't tell, I really like Riesling. I love, you can see that this wine is still tense. It's still taut and wound up and full of energy, but it's also just starting to kind of come into its own and give you a little bit more, like I said, breadth and depth and weight, and I'm assuming texture. Let's see. Wowza. Yeah, this is exactly what I want in a Eden Valley dry Riesling. It's limey, citrusy, it's nutty, it has like a stony character, it smells like licking wet slate. The acid is high, but not as high as it would have been when it was first bottled, where it probably would have made your teeth feel like they were going to fall out. This is, like I said, still super refreshing and tart and linear, but after its initial kind of pop, it spreads out into the other sides of your mouth. You get more roundness and creaminess. You feel it. This has so much life in front of it. I really want to taste this next to the 10-year reserve just to kind of see that line of development and see how things progress over those 5 years. You can do the same thing yourself. The 10-year reserve is available here in our market as well. What do we want to eat with this? It's got all of that kind of really kind of creamy citrus. So doing something that has some aromatic components, like Thai, doing like a fish curry with a green Thai curry sauce would be delicious. Doing like a burrito sushi, something that's like the oshi style where it's flame seared on top. It's got a little bit of creaminess to it. That would be delicious as well. You could do, it's like pork. You can do sausages. You could do pork belly. You could take a really great piece of fatty pork belly and just render down that fat, sear it so you have still good kind of crunch to the outside and fattiness. I can't really think of anything that I don't want to eat with this. This has complexity for days and will definitely benefit from additional cellaring if you choose to, or just drink it now and then go get another bottle. All right. Well, that's all I have for you. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.